Good morning, all. I just wanted to upload this new video. I believe a lot of this we are seeing now, but I think it's very, very, very important that we continue to understand Revelation. We understand the what's here and what's happening. Now, there may be many different people speaking on this, and you know, I'm not saying one person's right, one person's wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying what has come to me over the time of watching and even listening to other people. You know, there's a lot of similar things that are in everybody's talking. You know, some people just want to come against other people, saying they're not truth. But one thing that I know is when the Lord gives me a date and time, I will speak it. When He doesn't give me a date and time, I don't speak it, because I've written things down that on tablets that it's taken a while. But I also know that you know, California, where that San Andreas line is, you know, that's crucial, people. It's something big is going to happen there. And I believe, because I seen in a vision where California was split off and it was broken into 4 chunks, and they built bridges in between the chunks of it, and a roadway coming back into the United States. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me anyway, because of the corruption. You know, it's very corrupt. I mean, they do things that is unbelievable, but then again, so does the world. I mean, we have to look at the world, but that's not what I want to dig into. I want to dig into the signs of happening right now, and I just want to start off right here, basically with the Antichrist himself. You know, the Antichrist must set the stage. You know, you look at Revelation, which, if you go into Revelation and you look at the 4 pour out of the horses, you know, it speaks clearly right here. You know, you go through the seals, you go through the unveiling, you go through the trumpets, you know, which is, if you really wanted to look into all this, you know, start looking at Revelation 8. Go through there and look out the pour outs. Look out the bottomless pit with the 5th trumpet. You know, it goes into chapter 11. The 2 witnesses. People, you know, it says right here, you know, and the Antichrist has to pretty much, let's just say, set a stage. He's got to set everything in motion and build it as it comes. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about riots. We're talking about lawlessness. We're talking about food shortages, which, now don't get me wrong on that, because when I start speaking about the pale horse rider, you know, which is the Antichrist, you know, he's the one that's going to come out. You know, we got to stop thinking good guy in the Westerns were white, bad guy were black. We also know that Lucifer, it can form into an angel of light and deceive people. He's been deceiving people since before creation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have took the 1/3 of the angels with him, now would he? I believe it's a 1/3. Don't quote me on that. But for some reason, I think I'm right. I could be wrong. It's a possibility. But what you're looking at is, we have to understand what's happening. So let's go into it. We must get into a great deceiving way. He must start deceiving us to believe that this needs to take place. There must be a need for him. So if we start going into food shortages, riots, we're going into money loss, we're going into you know, we can go down the list here. I mean, I can name off a lot of things that's happening right now. You know, you know, and I'm even going to speak again on this buyouts. You know, we got to stop doing this stuff. You know, they're controlling us. How many times during the COVID did you hear coin shortages? I know the truck stops left and right and pretty much everywhere. We're going to round this up. And I've always said I wasn't going to name out stores and stuff, but, you know, shame on you. Shame on you for taking advantage. You people should be the ones refunding people. Pilots, Loves, Kroger's, and there's a few more that people were talking about, but I totally forget the names now because you go in there and you see these signs everywhere. How is there food shortages when nobody was really leaving and everything was being done by cards and Ubers and all these things? You know, this starts to sound like a day's wage, you know, for 3 barleys. And, you know, come on, people. Are we not seeing Revelation unfold in front of us? Control of currency is what they want. It's what the Antichrist, the pale horse rider on the white horse, is what he wants. He's got to set the stage. And that's what he's doing. He's setting the stage. Look at all these riots that's going on. Look at all this food shortage. Now think about it. This must take place all around the world. And has it not? I mean, you go back to Ethiopia. You know, look when the drought came in there. Look at the things that took place there. How long did they suffer? You know, we have to really pay attention to what's going on. Stop being deceived by what they're doing in the Capitol buildings and what they're doing out there. Stop getting upset about this and start praying about this. It's time to pray, people. It's time that you find Christ if you don't know him. It's a time that these churches need to get off their high horses, per se, and start speaking of Revelation, because this is what we need more now than ever. Because if you're not saved and you're not truly following Jesus, you are going to be left behind, and you're going to suffer worse than what we're suffering now. You can stockpile food, you can collect your ammo all they want, because you're going to start hearing in the administration that's in there now, they're going to start attacking the Second Amendment again, because that's just what they do, because they got to stop all this stuff. You're going to start seeing also, I believe, you're going to start seeing ammo shortage. Big deal. You can have all the guns. They know you're never going to stop it, but they can't stop ammo shortage. They can't stop that from happening. You buy out a big organization, per se, and we all know the name, the big organizations, then, you know, money talks. And when the devil's involved in it, he can provide all you need. I used to tell people how much you for sale for, and the people would say, I'm not. I was like, yeah, you are. Because eventually you end up doing something. People will sell things beyond what you can say. The bartering stage is going to come. And, you know, people, you know, I understand people get feared. You know, I understand that food shortage is scary. People running into the store. I mean, we've seen with COVID, and what was the purpose of it? People were buying paper towels. People were buying the wipes. People were buying toilet paper. You couldn't even keep it on the shelf. You had to wait in long lines. Well, how do you feel about waiting in those long lines? Because that's what's going to happen. The same thing as it was waiting, as, you know, because I grew up poor. I remember standing in lines to get the government cheese, which I always thought was really good. I mean, honestly, you can, you know, say what you want, but it was very tasty cheese. It came in a brown box, and I think the lid was a little bit lighter than the box, if I remember correctly. But and I'm not for sure what all we got. I don't really remember all that, but I just remember getting that big block, looked like a box like the Velveeta cheese comes in. But if you don't like waiting in lines, and you don't like being told what to do, well, you're not going to like the end times, because they're going to control you. They're already starting to try it now. You know, again, with the COVID, they shut down stores. They told us what time we can shop. I mean, even with food assistance, it went from, as a child, coming in your mailbox. They would just mail it to you. Then it went to a point where you had to pick it up, and they gave you Everybody would wait in lines for hours and hours, and they realized that was it. That was crazy. And then they started doing by last names. This section, you came on this day. Yeah, you still might have had to wait in line. Then they did what? They came to the card. Load it on a card, you swipe it, put your PIN code in, and nobody knows the wiser whether you're on food assistance or not. Well, let me tell you, the majority of people are on food assistance. People just are embarrassed. What are you embarrassed by? It's a crazy times. You know, if you're getting a food assistance, so what? What are you so prideful about? Like, you matter to the person behind you. That person doesn't even... They might have a thought or two. Maybe they don't. Who knows? But why do you care? Your priority is, if you're really using it what it's supposed to be meant for, you're providing for your family. Because you're going shopping. And you should be grateful that you have something to use. You know, I don't get it. I don't understand why people become so lost in pride. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't understand, because I do. Because I understand the devil. And I understand what he's capable of doing, and I understand the authority that he has. And I understand what God has given him, but I also understand what God's going to give him at the end. The end, he will not have to go to God. He will do whatever he wants, how he pleases, when he wants, and how he wants. If he wants you to be tortured and tortured and tortured, well, big deal, you're going to get that in hell. So you might as well get a taste of it before you go. Maybe that will make you change your mind. Well, in the end times, it's not going to be so easy, because you can't call on Jesus. Because Jesus is going to be reigning with the people that the Father gave him. And through this, you are not going to be able to communicate, because the Father is going to block his hearing. So, that means you're dealing with the Father. Well, if you don't know Jesus, you don't know the Father. If you got a problem with your earthly father, you're going to have a problem with the Father. Because you're going to see him as this stereotype of this mean guy with the magnifying glass wanting to burn you. Well, no, that's not the case. You set yourself on fire. And that's a whole nother topic. But let's dig into a little bit more of this. The white horse rider will be the Antichrist. He will deceive the world to start the rise of himself. He will be seen as God. He wants to be seen as God. So in order to do that, all these things must take place. All these things must come into the equation for that to happen. Which, when he's placed up there, and he will be appointed, look what's going to happen. He's going to deceive people. Well, we know Lucifer deceived people in the beginning because he did it to Eve. Eve did not really sin. She disobeyed, but Adam sinned by not caring for his helpmate and not saying, no, what you did was wrong, we don't do this. Who knows, we would have probably never been where we are today. But the devil's very clever, and the devil wouldn't have gave up there. He would have continued. But let's face it, those are the cards that were dealt. We don't have to play with those cards. We can change our deck. It's kind of like a strategic poker chess game going on here. You got to combine everything together and be smarter than the dealer. Depends on what dealer you're under, the devil or God. If you're in that devil's category, and even if you could sit there and say, well, I'm not sure, I go to church, I do this and that, but if you can seriously go 100%, I don't know, then you need to change. You need to start looking at yourself and examining yourself, and ask God to examine you. Ask the Lord through prayer, Lord, examine me, change me, take these things from me. And you're going to start feeling lighter. You're going to start feeling more peaceful. You're going to start feeling love. You're going to start feeling like you're important, like you matter, because you do matter. You know, so many people say on their birthdays and stuff, that's just another day. That's because nobody's ever gave you what God has given you. God has brought you here, so you're important. That day's important. God has a reason. That's why it's important. You're important because God had a plan for you. You just never found what God's plan is, because the fleshly life takes over. So, what's going to start forming out of this is one world government, the fall of currency, which will go into one currency. How do they start doing this? By slowly trying and seeing what you're going to bite into or not. Bitcoins, I think that's a big start of it all. You know, somebody told me, and I don't know, I never really researched it, but I was listening to some guys talk, and a guy mentioned, he goes, well, you guys realize all that stuff's from China, right? You know, there's a credit card thing or bank card thing that's, I don't know what I forget the name of it, but you basically download the stuff in there. There's never no overdrafts. There's never nothing in it, but it's also from China. Well, I don't know. Do you trust it? I mean, China's our enemy, for crying out loud, and people are putting their trust in this? I don't think so, people. I don't even trust our government. I mean, seriously, they're taking cash away so we can't, because they can't control what we're doing with cash. They don't know what we're buying with cash. I mean, it's getting harder and harder and harder. I mean, now when you go to a bank and they're asking you, well, for your protection, they start off with, what are you going to do with this money? It's none of your business. You didn't ask me for my protection, why I carried in such a check in here from another bank and deposited into your bank. You didn't ask me that. Now, did you? My company that I work for doesn't ask me, well, we're going to pay you, but we need to know what you're going to spend that money on. It's none of your business. It's my business. If you want to know, if the government wants to know everything I'm doing, they gave me a social security number. But if they want to know what I'm going to do, then you need to pay my rent. You need to pay my utilities. You need to provide the foods that I want on my table, not what you're going to give me. You need to provide my entertainment that I want. Pay my car bill, which I don't have one, but I'm just saying, people that do. Pay my mortgage, which, funny how all of a sudden everybody started buying homes, and you know, the rates went up and down when you got closer to closing. All of a sudden it went from 3.5 to 5.5, and I was kind of upset by all this stuff. And then when I asked again, it was because of another issue and another issue. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm grateful for the home that we were able to purchase, and I really am. I'm grateful for the Lord that He provided the money that we, you know, my wife and I saved very long, and you know, there's a lot of things that we probably wanted to do, a lot of things maybe she wanted to purchase. I know there was a couple things I wanted to purchase, but that home was more important at the time. So the priorities when you're working for a goal. You know, I'm very grateful for the work that I have, that I'm able to provide, and my wife's able to go and do, you know, the volunteer work and all the stuff that she does, because she does it for the love of Christ first and the Father above all things. And, you know, when you walk in a foot, and I know she gets not really upset, but, you know, the fact that I mention these things, and I'm not trying to put her on a pedestal or take any reward away from her. I'm just saying, if you had to mention somebody that you can say that does something for the love of Christ, she comes to mind. Because I don't know if I could volunteer that many days and put them many hours in and do what she does. I've been there. I've volunteered with her. I've been in different ministries with her. And I've been the stuff that she's ran. It's crazy how much work and time. I mean, you just go, wow, to do this weekly, you know. But it was a way to, when I was off work, to get to see her. I don't want to be off work and not get to see her, then I might as well be out here making money. I mean, it's that simple. But again, the trails, I call them, but God must have a reason for it. He must have a reason for someone to hear this. I'm never going to apologize when I go on these little trails. They might drive you kind of crazy at times, but I don't want to even, I'm not trying to do that, but I'm just trying to give you, when this rambling on, as I call it, goes, it's got to be for somebody, otherwise it wouldn't happen. Remember that God does everything for a reason, purpose, and a plan. So let's go on. The one currency, we talked on that. The bank bailouts, we've been seeing that left and right. You know, we're also seeing the government's doing bailouts. That's the same thing, people. They're buying out student loans. They're now giving people that are on Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and all this, now they're giving them a $900 food allowance to go buy food. Wow, you didn't care for them before. You didn't give the pay raises before. You haven't done these things before. So why all of a sudden now? Why all of a sudden now are we doing this? You know why? Because the election is right around the corner. Think about this. The election is right around the corner. They want their votes. Because they know this circus parade that we've been watching is all part of the rise of the Antichrist, but people don't see it that way because they're discouraged and disgusted. Well, get used to it, because if you follow the devil's path, that's where you're going. We also will see food shortages. We will see the fact of food not being on shelves. We will see them stop making stuff. We will see government buying up farm properties and stuff. We will see builders building on the farmlands because the prices of everything, the fuel keeps going up. You know, people, if we bail into this solar garbage, we might as well just give up now. You know, there's people that I've been seeing putting signs up, because I drive trucks, so I see all kinds of crazy things out here. People are putting signs up, you know, do not enter. They're putting like prison barbed wire wrapped around their houses and stuff with electric. Well, I say they must have some kind of solar panels, because if you got an electric generator that's plugged in into the main source of your home, let's face it, if they cut your electric off, that generator is not going to do any good, so those electric fences aren't going to do no good. If you got solar panels that store extra, what's saying that it's stopping them from draining your excess? I don't know. Is it possible? I'm sure it is possible, because there's a system out there now where you can sell back unused electric to the electric company so they can use maybe to power the house across the street. Well, basically, if they can do that, then why can't they drain your storage? I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. I imagine it probably is, because how else then can they buy your electricity out of your storage bank, per se, of your system? Just think about it. I don't know if maybe somebody can comment and say, yes, it's true, or no, it's not true. Because I only want to speak the things that are true. I don't want people to be deceived. I don't want people to be scared. And this ain't about fear. Because God is not fear. God's a chain breaker. God breaks that fear. God takes that fear away from you. You don't have to fear when you're with Him. Are we going to go through problems? Yes, we're going to go through problems just like everybody else. But I know God will provide my needs. He will take care of me. I know God is going to do whatever is in His will for me. And I have faith and I have trust in that, and I believe in that. I also know there's nothing man can do to me. There's nothing man can do to me. Worse, they can take me out there and beat the living tar out of me. I may feel every bit of it. God may allow me to feel every bit of it. But I also know John was also boiled and went right back into a place and preached again. Well, if he's boiled in oil going right back in there, then who am I to complain? I also know that Stephen was stoned to death. But I also believe that God gave him the comfort. And I also believe that He will give me the comfort of whatever happens. Because I'm not afraid of death, because I've seen death. I've seen hell firsthand. I know what it is. And I know what awaits it. So I'm not a fear of that. I'm a fear of going there. And that's why I follow the Father today. Because I don't want to go back to what I've seen. I don't want to go back there. Heck, the demons don't even want to go back there. That's why if you read in the Bible where it says there was legions in a man, and they said, don't cast this out, but cast this into the swine. The swine became crazy and ran into the water and drowned it. The demons were cast out. Jesus did exactly what they want, so be careful what you're asking for. Give me 1 second, please. Oh, I had to get something to drink. My throat starts getting a little dry. Okay. So the food shortages, are we not seeing these things? Yes. Are we not seeing formula, the shortage on that? But they had containers and containers and containers down on the border. And people look into it. I'm telling you the truth, there was. I don't know if there still are or not, but they shipped all this stuff down there. And I'm not saying that these children needed to starve. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying woe on the Biden administration and our vice president that's supposed to be over this and down there and won't even go there because she's so wrapped up in her own self. And people, it's sick. How dare you go sit in a White House position and allow this stuff to go on? If you ask me, I think all these sinister people should be the ones down there in the tents with them. Go down there and see the chaos that's going on. Go down there and look at the Border Patrol that's got to try to contain this nonsense. And we're not funding them. People realize that most police officers have to buy their own vest and all this stuff, or it's hand-me-down stuff from other places that have the fundings and stuff. That's sick. It really is. These people, whether you believe in the police or not, it doesn't matter. Is some people corrupted? Yes. There are people corrupted at your work. Are you coming against them? Are you wanting to riot them? Are you wanting to shoot them? I'm not saying what every officer does is right, but dang. When you call 911, and if they don't show up, now you're going to have a really big problem, aren't you? But we're defunding them. You're happy about that. You want to turn over the cars. People want to shoot them. They're putting their life. Now, let's just say this. Let's just say, and I'm going to use myself. Let's just say I come into your city and I'm a big-time known person to be of pure evil. I walk into your little stores down there and walk in there, and I got me a squad of people that are rolling up with me, and we're coming in there and they're watching me, and I'm just walking in there going, give me all your money. Smack them right across the face. Give me all your money now. Bam, bam. You're going to hate me. Tearing it up. I'm going to break the windows out. I'm going to throw stuff out there. You're going to hate me. You're going to call the cops. But let me tell you something while you're calling the cops. What's the difference? Now the cops are going to come. They're going to do what they're going to do. And I'm putting because people are only catching certain things. But let's just say this. When you finally find out the history of me, I'm wanted around the world. I'm huge with the FBI. The FBI's been trying to find me for years. I've killed people, I've raped people, I've destroyed people's lives, I've broke into their homes, I have done miserable things. I have looted places, blew up cars, blew up buildings. You're going to go, he deserved what he got. You're doing wrong, you're doing wrong. You shouldn't be in areas, you shouldn't be doing things, you shouldn't present yourself into places. I'm not saying shooting somebody 90 times. I don't know. I'm not there, people. Stop judging. Stop judging things in life. When you don't know the whole truth of what's going on, or that news, I don't care what news it is. You know, I even come against these newses that just want to constantly bash the crap out of someone. I don't care. Who are you? It's happening for a reason. If you're truly a Christian, then you have to believe everything's happening for the return of Christ. And I'm going to bring something here real quick that's probably going to get your attention. Hopefully it does. We're going to hear war. We're going to see war and hear rumors of war. We're going to hear about nuclear war. Well, we are from Russia. Russia's threatening us left and right with it right now. Well, go ahead, Putin. Bomb away. Because in reality, you're going to destroy yourself. Even if you go hide in a bunker or SpaceX here that a certain person's making. I don't know. Are they making this because they're eventually going to all disappear and go into space and live on another planet? I don't know. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, nothing surprises me at this point. But, let me finish touching on this. If you think you're going to be able to stockpile all this food, and you think you're going to be able to have all these weapons, do you really, I mean, let's really think about this. You can control your property as best as you can. You really think in the end time situation that people are not coming packed with more weapons than you? They're not going to come from every round of places around you? If you think that's Come on. You really think you're going to be able to stop an air attack? No. If you are powering up and you're not could be doing what the government wants, and you're not leaving to get food, or you're not working to do what they want for you to get food, they're coming at you. And you're not going to stop them. They're going to raid, they're going to destroy, they're going to tear up everything in there until they find exactly where you're putting things at. Think about it. If my little simple mind can think of this stuff, you don't think that they ain't already thinking about this stuff? No. They're coming in. They're coming in. And even these people that you think about it, you get so scared you're going to do whatever it takes to survive. And if they come at you with numbers all around you and come in there, and these people will. Fear does some crazy things. Crazy. I'm just saying, think about how crazy all this stockpiling and all this stuff. You know, medications even expire too. So, just saying. How do you know what they're putting in these medications that people are becoming fearful and running out there because they're so frightful that they're not going to have an antidote, or they're not going to have something to stop disease or something, or common cold or something? How do you know what they're putting in those pills or in that liquid? Did you know back in World War I, and I think it was World War I or World War II, that the Korea was actually injecting stuff into fleas and turning out numerous of them to bite people to make them sick and kill them? Think about it. They were injecting stuff. What is the common cold flu when you go get the flu shot? They inject the virus into you. What virus? How do they know what virus to inject into us? Because it's man-made, people. Man-made. Just knocked the mic over. All right. The Antichrist will be light. He will become very cunning. He will be very deceiving. He will also be very empowerment. He will empower things. People will believe him. People will come and look at him, and he will have thousands of followers. People will flock to him and trust him. We also know that's why he's on the white horse. Look what Hitler. But I'm telling you what, the Antichrist is going to make Hitler look like a saint. Trust me on this. If you're still here and this video surfaces back in, you're going to like, I should have listened then. Trying to hurry so I can get this thing loaded up for you guys. The Antichrist will even make Hitler, I just spoke on that, at the end of the 3.5 years, he's going to make Hitler trustworthy. Again, he's going to make Hitler look like a saint. What this guy's going to do. The devil is not going to stop. Lucifer is going to make havoc. He is going to destroy this place. Worldwide, he's not, because he's going to be in control of everything. He's going to control every move you make. Go back and watch, I guess the best series I can say, go back and watch the actual original Left Behind series, not the one with Nicolas Cage, because they kind of butchered it, if you ask me, but I'm just saying. Very interesting. This is the part I was just speaking about that you're going to find very interesting. We are at the 6,000th year of human history. So the Lord spoke to me and said, I said, Lord, when the second coming of you comes, when do we expect this? And he said, in the 6,000th year, what you are approaching. Now, are we approaching it this year? Are we approaching it next year? I believe, personally, I think we are going to see an upside down 2023. I really do. I think we're going to, so many things are going to be revealed. I don't think it's going to be so much revealed this year. I think when the elections start happening, I think we're going to see an interesting election through the Senates and all this. You know, I think a lot of people are still going to be deceived. I think they're figuring out ways to pack the ballots. And I think when we come into 2023, I really believe it's going to change dramatically. I believe the attack on America and the attack on every country out there, they are coming with a vengeance. I believe the Antichrist is building himself up so much right now. He's setting that stage. He's making sure the lights are perfect. He's making sure the sound systems are great. And he's going to continue to decrease things. And he's going to continue to bankrupt these things to make this one. I mean, you're going to start seeing people standing out there with signs saying one world order, one government, one nation. You're going to start seeing this. And when you start seeing this stuff, it's your warning sign. I'm telling you. Get away from this stuff. Get to your knees. Find Christ, people. I'm telling you. You don't want what's coming. I mean, you can sit there and say, how can you be so sure? Well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But how can I be wrong when I've seen what I've seen? How can I be wrong when accepting Jesus Christ, my whole world has changed? Yes, I've lost a lot of people out of my life being plucked from me because they've either brought pain and sorrow or they were no good. Yes, even family members, even children. I have to accept it because I ask him to change. I ask him to take everything out of my life that is no good for me, that is going to cause me to stumble. It's going to cause me to hate, going to cause me to be mad. I can go down the list. I don't want it. Does that make me a bad person? No. I want to go to heaven. I want to get out of this world. I want to get out of what's coming because I know hell is torturous. This is a drop in a bucket. I say go to a bonfire. Get as close as you can, but then keep walking. You're going to say I'm crazy, but in hell, that's what's going to happen to you. But that's only one little speck of the heat. Trust me. Pain of the earth must be seen all around the world. Are we not in food shortages? We not in droughts? I mean, things are drying up. People, the Mississippi River, people are actually walking across. I've been telling my wife this for a long time. You know, months and months, I've been driving over the Mississippi River and I'm looking at it going, you got to be kidding me. I'm literally seeing these stone, like, rocks looking thing built up like they used to have a wall or something across it. It's the craziest thing ever. My wife said maybe it was a road at one time. I don't know, but I just think it's incredible. And people are walking out to this one island thing out there that's been underwater. This thing is so tall, and that thing's underwater. Was underwater. It's not sounding so silly now, is it? Worldwide, these things will be seen. Earthquakes, powerful storms coming out of nowhere, tornadoes, and they're all going to say record-breaking. We're going to have snowfalls this year beyond what we have ever seen. And it will come soon. Snow is going to start falling everywhere. It's crazy how much snow is going to come in because it all must take place. These things must happen. The man riding on the pale horse is death, and hell shall follow with him. Will bring famine, death, I can never say that. Anyways, I'm just going to butcher it. COVID, smallpox, monkeypox, AIDS. You know, back in the mid-1300s, you look at what they call the Black Death. Hold on. I wanted to find that one part of Revelation. Anyways, Black Death. Unbelievable. The boils and everything comes on it. And they were doing this to people. COVID. And many people that got these late boosters and stuff were getting sick, getting blood clots, and people were denying it. No. Yes. They were fine until they got it. And then all of a sudden, well, we don't have to wear masks anymore. We don't have to do it. Oh, and the whole world believes the corrupt. You're so mad at the government, but you're going to believe them it's okay to take a mask off. Does that make any sense? That makes no sense. The fear is over. It's not over, people. It's not over. What was the other one? Oh, the plagues and stuff. You know, you look at smallpox. We got monkeypox. We got oh my gosh, you know, the list just goes down. Basically, this is how they're going to do it. And this is what I really believe through prayer. And I really do believe this. I believe if I could go on a lie detector test right now, because the Lord has spoke this to me way back in 2000, I think it was 17 and 18 and 19 and 20, 21, even in this year. Don't take the shots. My wife and I have not taken the shots. We refuse. Because we know the reward is heaven. If I receive it, I told her, if I receive it and pass away, then my time here is done. I'm going to go celebrate. I live as a Christian now, today. I live as a Christian doing God's work. And I live for my return home, not to stay here. I don't want to stay here. If I can have my wish right now, if the Lord came to me right here, right now in front of you and said, come, bye-bye. I'm not giving you another second of this. I'm just going to get up and move. I probably won't even say bye-bye. There's nothing here on this earth. And yes, I love people around me. I love my wife. I would do whatever I possibly could to make things in her life better. But I will not sacrifice myself for anyone here on this earth. Never. Nor will I do anything that's against God. Ever. For you or anybody else. Not going to do it. I touched a little bit on that during the wars and stuff, how they poisoned the foods. They put stuff on blankets that these soldiers were covering up on, injecting them with stuff. I mean, we can go, the list goes on and on. I mean, we can really go down that rabbit hole and probably stay there for a bit. The black horse. Famine, food shortage, which will lead to many more people dying. Okay, well, let's just go to this. 1/3 of the population. How are they going to do it? We may say war. We may say thousands of people died during the COVID. Thousands of people died during smallpox. I'm sorry, monkeypox. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's so many poxes and so many chicken pox, this pox, swine flu, mad cow disease, what was that? Bird flu, the mosquito thing. I mean, there's so many, goodness gracious. But let's just think about it. How many shots were involved? What did they put on our foods? We don't know what they're putting. You know, organic, everybody keeps saying organic. Well, you also know that most of the organic stuff is grown by the government. I actually looked this up because somebody said that, and I was like, are you for sure about that? And they said yes, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm not saying Google's right, but if it is right, do you trust what they're spraying these crops with? How does the farmers make the stuff that they spray? Just their ordinary sprays? They don't know. Do you know what they're spraying in exterminating your homes and stuff like that? They don't make the chemical. They just use it. You don't know what anybody is spraying and moving around there. Look at water sources. They're water sources. And wait. Don't think just because if you have a well, you're safe. Because whatever they dump in the ground, it moves. Okay? It moves into water sources. Okay? I got to hurry up. That's why I've been kind of rushing through this, because this thing's about to cut off. Anyways, so basically, what are we going to be looking out for? You're going to be looking out for stuff that's going to hit the world, not just United States, the world. Food shortages. You're going to look out for any kind of control things that they're going to do to try to control, which electricity, your banking. I got a feeling the stock market during this recession, this great recession. Notice they said great recession. You know, you look at the Pope. The Pope that we got in place put himself above Christ and above God. False prophets, we got him. He's already here. He's deceiving millions. Somebody asked me yesterday when I got back here where I'm at, they said, do you believe Trump may be the Antichrist because of the power and the reign and stuff? I said, well, I don't know. Some people are claiming that God has placed him there, but we've also seen him do some bad things too. You know, I don't know. All I know is God's going to put into place who God wants in place, and whatever purpose is. You know, that's like saying, why did Jesus choose Judas, a thief, which also betrayed him? Isn't it amazing? A thief sold and betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins. You think Jesus got it wrong? No. Who am I to question it? I'm not. Who are you to question it? You shouldn't. Who do you to judge? You better not, because God's going to judge you as you judge others. Let's help the world. Let's try to go back to the days when the farmers were behind and the farmer next would come and help him plow. You know, plant seeds. You know, somebody had a flat tire on the side of the road. You pulled over and tried to help them. These days, you probably get shot. Or these days, nobody even cares because we're so worried about going to that famous coffee shops and getting our coffee for the day and being more confused coming out. I'm not coming against anybody. If that's what makes you happy in life, I kind of feel bad for you in some way, and who knows, maybe I'll make a video on that one day of why do you see yourself the way you see yourself. You know, there's so many people going through depressions and don't even realize they're going through depression because the devil wants you in depression. He wants you to think less of yourself. He wants these big muscle magazines out there. He wants these women to look like things, but they're all Photoshopped, majority of it. Half of these actors and actress that you see without makeup, you're like, whoa. It's not so much, as they say, the eye candy as it is, because you see behind the mask. Well, everybody puts a mask on sometime or another. It doesn't have to be that way. Let me pray. God bless everybody. Lord, I thank you for this time, and I thank you for the word that you give me. And Lord, as always, give me the word and the understanding of these words. Let me only speak with what you give me. Let me do accordingly to your plans and purposes and desires, not my own, but yours. Let me seek you first and seek the kingdom before I do of anything. Let me lead people accordingly to your word and your plans, or let me lead and not do of anything. Let me do accordingly with what you have given me, whether I understand it, don't understand it, remember it, or do remember it. It doesn't matter. You ask me, I shall walk, and even if I stand alone through all this, I believe, I trust, and I know what I speak is truth, and I know what you've given me is truth because the Bible speaks it, the Bible backs it up. The Bible shows everything that I have spoken is truth because it is of your word and not of my own. I am not even capable of thinking about these things that I speak of. I'm not even worthy to even speak this to people, but I'm glad that you have given me the opportunity in the tongue, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. I will come and I will stand. I was left when I was a sinner. I was beaten when I was a sinner. I was left to die as a sinner. But you have clothed me, you have comforted me, you have loved me, you have fed me, you have put a roof over my head. I have no wants, no needs, no desires, because you know best, and I give it to you daily, and I ask for you to only give me what I'm capable of controlling, what I'm capable of having, that I'm not going to be prideful and become bitter about things, or want more, become greed or selfish. Only give me what I need for what I need for today. Let me not be foolish of tomorrow, because tomorrow may come, and if tomorrow comes, then I must be prepared for tomorrow also. The same as, but I must not focus on tomorrow. I must finish focusing on today, because today has its own plans and its own purposes and other deceiving ways. I must know the devil's voice, and I must be ready and looking. But I don't look for him to come. I look for the return of you, which is upwards, and I continue to look upwards, and I continue to walk. And I ask the same thing over these people here. Let there any chains in there. Let the depression be pulled from them. Let the chains that are holding them, let the links start to be softened as they do when they first heat it to mold and sculpt these things. Let it heat so bad that they just disintegrate. Let these things in their lives be put on the back burner per se and taken from them. Let them come with a repenting heart, Lord. Let them come to find you. Let whatever's in their life, Lord, if it's wicked and bad, or if it's deceiving, as it was said in the book of Job, let these things be pulled away from them. Now it's time for the devil to start pulling these things off, because we have the power. We have the power of what you said that you have. Speak of it, and you shall give it. Well, I'm asking this in your holy name, in the blood of you. I ask your blood to be over everyone. I ask for your protection to be over people, but I also say, let them come and to receive you, Lord. And in order for this, then let the devil start taking these things away from them. Let these things be broken. Let them see how foolish these things that they think in their lives. Because cars rust, you crash cars, things happen, things are being destroyed. You know, people are going to break into things, people are going to steal stuff, whatever the case may be. Let the truth of what the devil's doing to them be seen. The same as what happened in the book of Job. Lord, I just pray for these people. I continue to ask in this day for your protection over me, your blood over me, your guidance, your protection, and let me walk accordingly and look upwards and keep looking for you. Let the world's ways not faze me. Let it not distract me, and surely let no fear enter me, because I am under the authority and a child of the living Creator, the Father in heaven, which have sent you to come to be my Savior, my King, my friend, and my salvation. I love you all. I thank you. God bless.